Huge show on today's DNVR Broncos podcast. Sean Payton has gone out of his way to make it clear the Broncos are a Super Bowl team and just how much he likes Bo Nix. We're going to break those comments down. Plus, we were at practice today. Did Bo Nix live up to the hype that Sean gave him this weekend? We'll break it down starting now. Sean Payton certainly does. In fact, he might believe more than anyone in the world. We're going to break it down on today's DNVR Broncos podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores inside the DNVR Bar. And the Broncos are back, so we are back. Ryan Koenigsberg, Henry Chisholm, we got you here behind the cameras, and we also got Jaden joining us today, and Zach Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, but I don't think anyone, Bo Nix probably had the best possible weekend you can have with the comments that Sean had for him, but even with that, I don't know if anyone had a better weekend than Henry.
Yeah, went to the Rockies game yesterday, little home run parlay.
I commented on Twitter. You just ignored it.
Well, it was the morning, and so I was busy, and that was a practice, and I was like, okay, during the special teams, I'll comment back.
After winning that.
And then there were like calls about the car and like all sorts of things going on.
So Bet365.
Yes, Bet365, the incredible place. I made the home run parlay with Hunter Goodman, Jordan Beck, and Mickey Moniak. And in the first inning, Mickey Moniak and Hunter Goodman both hit like these big, high bombs that just got to the warning track, and I was like, gave it a good run, had a chance. In the sixth inning, the three of them go back to back to back, like 130 to 1 odds. Yeah, that was a good time.
That's like,
I'd say so.
Especially with the car in the shop.
130
to
1 odds.
130 to 1.
After the first one happened, were you thinking like that'd be sick if they went back to back?
No, absolutely. I was like,
and then after the second one happened, you knew the third one was happening, right?
Oh, yes, you get there. So, and the weird thing was, first of all, a hot day at Coors Field. That's why I was like, okay, let's hit this parlay. Let's go crazy here because the ball's going to be flying. But the pitcher was awesome all game, and he started to slow down in that inning. There were like a couple guys on base for the first one, and you're like, he's a little shaky. This could get out. But they didn't have anybody up in the bullpen. So he gives up the home run, and you're like, okay, this pitcher looks awful now. Second guy gets up, third time through the order too, hits another, and you're like, well, they still can't pull him. Guy's not ready. And then bang, it happens again.
There's sometimes in sports betting when you know that you're about to lose in a terrible way.
Yep. That's
and you're just like, I can feel this happening. They're about to backdoor this, and it's going to be terrible for me. And then there's other times where you know something really good is about to happen for you.
It's weird how you get that feeling.
Yep.
It is weird how you can feel what's going to happen.
That is just insane. So congratulations on that, Henry. That is wild. And Bo might have had an even better weekend with the news his head coach delivered. But his head coach also delivered a message about this team. And it's about that time in training camp. Beginning of August, 2 weeks in, Sean Payton now needs a couple of lattes to keep himself going. You remember when he had a couple of lattes last training camp?
Yeah.
The smear campaign against Russell Wilson?
Or no. That was 2 years ago.
That was Hackett.
Yes.
Yes. So it was a smear campaign against Hackett last year.
Coors lattes?
Was there? Probably Coors lattes. Yeah. Last year, did we get anything?
Anything spicy?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were some veiled shots, but I don't know if we got a full on.
But this year, no shots. It's all about hyping his team up. He talked with Charles Robinson in the middle of last week, and yesterday, Charles Robinson revealed his story on what Sean Payton told him, and oh my goodness. No one can call anyone a homer now anymore because Sean Payton has put those words out into the world. he started off a little slow with Charles, or at least the way Charles wrote the story. He's like, we're like the new facility. We're coming along. It's coming. And it's like, okay, yeah, new facility is supposed to be done next year, and then you move in. So how's Sean going to play this? He goes, I like this team. I like this team a lot. And then he was asked, well, what about a Super Bowl? And he said, well, I started talking to this team about a Super Bowl, the first meeting we had this year. It's like, oh, okay. So what I heard back in March was right. It was the message that he wanted to put down to the rest of the team. And then he just kept going. And he said, quote, the short-term goal is winning the division, but this is a team capable of winning the Super Bowl. I've coached 6 teams that I thought could win the Super Bowl. Some went to championship games, some to the playoffs. This is my 7th team that I think has that.
Wow. It's something we've been alluding to all training camp. And, you know, I think Henry will agree here when it's like, when you see these pass rushers and you see this defense and you see that secondary and you see the way that the weapons are starting to develop, you can go there. You can take yourself there. And I really don't even think you have to make it past the defense. There's two questions that you need to answer. Is this defense as good as we think they are? Sure seems like it. And then there's the other one. Can Bo Nix take this team that far? And the second one, we will not know until we see it. The first one, I'm incredibly confident in. I'm incredibly confident that this defense is of the caliber of one that can win the Super Bowl. The rest is just on Bo.
And I'd throw in that throw that he made at the start of the Bills game makes you think that he could be. You know, that's a positive sign toward him being able to make big plays and big moments and win those sorts of games. It wasn't a perfect game for him or anybody else, but that at least was a sign that it's possible. But I agree. I mean, the defense is capable of keeping you in any game. They might even be capable of winning you any game. You know, that's what the 2015 defense did. There were games they should not have won. The defense was able to not only like keep you in the game, but make the plays that go and win you that game, even when the offense provided nothing. And even if they just keep you in the game, you know, you get the running game going, the weapons play up, Evan Ingram holds onto the football every time it hits his hands, then you're in good shape.
And we saw it last year. We saw the defense not only be elite, but we saw them win a couple of games for the Broncos.
Totally.
That Indianapolis Colts game is the one that jumps to mind when Nick Bonito had the incredible pick six. Or was that the fumble six, technically? I don't know whichever one it was. Both a pick six. And scored. That was
the fumble six.
I think it was. That took it from a close game to just a blowout, an easy win. But people forget how close that game was in the fourth quarter. Nick Bonito does that. Boom. Game over. So we saw flashes of it. And then what did the Broncos do in the offseason? They just go and get 2 more playmakers for the defense with Dre Greenlaw and then specifically playmakers Talanoa Hufanga. And we saw him make a sick interception on Friday in Sean Payton's words. And he's an absolute playmaker that may be able to take this defense from elite to game-changing over the top. And then when it comes to Bo, because you said we have to see it in order to truly know that he's taken that next step, and you're right in terms of the next step. But Ryan, in terms of a rookie quarterback, I mean, I guess outside of Jaden Daniels, who was only a hair better than Bo last year, you saw everything that you could have possibly wanted to see.
By the way, Bo was better for the last 13 weeks.
I think I finally did like pull up those numbers.
But Jaden was better in the playoffs.
Until the playoffs, yeah.
In the playoffs. But yeah, if you get rid of those first 4 weeks of the regular season, all the stats say Bo's better. And then which is kind of fun.
So you get one of the best rookies of all time going into his second season when his coach clearly believes in him, and he's only gained weapons because he got Evan Ingram. You didn't really lose anyone. And then the weapons you hope are only going to be better. You kept the exact same offensive line as well, same play caller. I don't need to see it to believe that he is going to take that next step.
So my only pushback on this, and I do believe, but my only pushback on this is there's a big gap between having a great rookie season and being a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I think it's a gigantic gap. But I have all the confidence in the world that Bo has what it takes to close the gap, and that Sean Payton knows how to take Bo across the gap.
100%.
But that's where I just say I have to see it, because we only have what we saw. And what we saw was a fantastic rookie season, which is such a massive step on getting to Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And then here's the other thing is Super Bowl caliber quarterback is a sliding scale depending on how good the rest of your team is.
Yeah.
And the defense is so good that Trent Dilfer could win a Super Bowl with this defense. Kerry Collins could go to a Super Bowl with this defense. Like Eli Manning could win a Super Bowl with this defense. And so the level that you have to get to is a lot lower when you have those guys on the other side. And Bo getting to that point almost feels foregone to me. It's just that you got to string it all together. It's not as simple as check these boxes and they just hand you the trophy. There's a lot of luck that has to go your way, matchups, and I think even matchups make a big case for why Jaden was better than Bo in the playoffs.
Totally.
He drew some good matchups for himself, and he was also balling.
He also got
the Lions, though, in Detroit, the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. That was
super injured.
That was incredible. You're right, injured. But
and they're still the Lions.
When I talk about Bo, though, I'm talking about on this team right now. So I am saying he has that benefit of an elite defense.
Totally, and that's what I mean. That's why I think that the gap is big. I think to get to Super Bowl caliber quarterback, but it's significantly smaller with this defense. It's significantly smaller with Sean Payton as your coach, and so we're well on our way. But nothing, we always want things to happen linearly in sports. It doesn't always work that way. Mm-hmm. So I just don't want everyone to crash out if Bo has a bad game in week 2 and say, "Oh God, here we go. This is everything we thought was wrong."
I would like to. There is no avoiding that. If Bo has 5 good games and then 1 bad game in week 6, there will be a crash out. So week 5, the game against the Eagles. That's the one where I think we'll know. That's the one where going into that, Titans, Colts, you probably win. Chargers, Bengals. Hopefully you're 3-1. Hopefully you're 4-0. Even if you do beat the Chargers and the Bengals, there's still going to be skepticism. It's if you go and beat the Eagles in Philly that that they're actually capable of doing this. And they might have other opportunities later on. And if you wind up 10-2, then maybe you feel that same way. But if the Broncos go out there and they're, 4, let's see, what would that be? That'd be 4-1 with a win over the Eagles. Everybody's going to be in. Everybody in Denver's in. Everybody in the national media is in.
The next day.
Totally. Are the Broncos for real? Can the Broncos win a Super Bowl? And that to me is when I think that's right. I think that's when we should be ready to say yep, this is the team we'd hope they'd be, and they're off and running. Or, they're not that team. They're still a good team. They're a playoff team. They're building. They're doing some right things. But that's the swing game in my mind.
I think that's too high of a bar, just because that's literally the toughest game for any NFL team. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think you have to go in there to win that to be a Super Bowl contender. And we'll hear from Sean. He said, I believe this team, he clarified today and said, I believe this team has a chance to win the Super Bowl, which means he thinks they're a Super Bowl contender in my mind right there. But I don't think you have to go out and win the toughest game in the entire NFL schedule in order to be a Super Bowl contender.
What about perform?
Yeah, perform well.
You have to perform well in that game.
I still think
I think that if last year, we were starting to kind of, what is happening? What could this team be? And then they go on the road to Baltimore and get their faces stomped, and we're like, okay, long ways away. Totally. I think after that game, it was pretty clear. The Broncos aren't winning a Super Bowl this year, which I don't think really anyone thought at any point during the year, but that was obvious. If you go out into Philly and you lose, I don't think anyone's saying you can't win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. If you go into Philly and you get blown out, I think people are going to say that.
That's fair.
But I think you do have to win for people to actually believe. So to me right now,
nationally, I would say yes.
I think maybe even potentially in Denver. For me in particular, I would say if the Broncos make the AFC Championship game, I'll be surprised. The odds are just I think the most likely result in the AFC West is that the Chiefs win the division. And that doesn't mean the Broncos don't have a chance and all that stuff. And I think, there's a reason the odds back that up, is that is probably more likely. There is that world in which the Broncos do make that run and do go do those things. If the Eagles, if they beat the Eagles, then I will firmly believe we are in that world. We're in the world where they're going to be in it late. We're in the world. That doesn't mean it's not possible after that, but that's the game to me where if they do get that one, we're saying Broncos are going to go do this. Well, I think they really do have a really good chance. Not anything's possible, but they can go do this.
I think that's fair. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this though: do you think Philly is the team to beat in the NFC?
I mean, I think it's probably them or the Lions.
The reason I ask that is because technically, beating the Eagles in Philly in week 5 is more difficult than beating the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's true.
So if you lost by 3, well, there's the 3 points for home field advantage. And you say, like, okay, well, if we got him on a neutral field, what would happen?
Totally.
And that's the only reason why I asked the question. Like, there's so much nuance to this. And by the way, week 5 is so far away from the playoffs.
Yep.
That there's just so much that can happen.
Yep.
But I think my overarching take here is the fact that Sean Payton is even okay saying this says a lot to me. He's said some things before. What was last year when he said, like, I've never gone... That was the bomb we got last year.
He said the next time I win fewer than 7 games will be the first.
That was last year.
Yes. In this article, he said he was asked about the 5.5 wins last year, and he said the next time I win 5 games will be the first.
Yeah.
Will be the first effing time.
Yeah. So like each year he's kind of like he didn't say they go to Super Bowl last year. He said we're not winning 5 effing games. You know. And this year I think the fact that he's already we're one of 7 teams I've ever coached. He's coached for what now? 17 years?
This is his 18th season. Yep.
Yeah, so this is his 18th team that he's coached. 7 of the 18 he believes will win a Super Bowl. This is one of them. One of them actually did it. And
It's top third.
Yes, exactly. And so that's really exciting. And I think that belief permeates throughout the entire, organization. Diana Rossini mentioned it when she came out of Denver Broncos Training Camp. She said they are not afraid to say the word Super Bowl around there. And I specifically remember when the Nuggets were in training camp going into the year that they won the championship, and they stopped. They said, this isn't about 82 games anymore. It's about 130 or whatever it is, adding, or 120, adding maybe it's 110. Who cares?
Yeah.
Adding like the potential 4-7 game series in the playoffs. And that's when everything switched. Everyone carried themselves with a championship mindset. Everyone, it's probably not this direct, but like you think like they made it anytime before someone made a decision, they said, is this a championship level decision on or off the court? And I think that when you start talking like that as a football team, you remove all excuses for anything. Hey, we're not quite there yet. Let me sit back a little bit. Like everyone has to be pedal to the metal to try and accomplish that goal.
Exactly, 100%. And I absolutely love that Sean is doing this. He's whipping his cojones out and putting them on the table and saying, I believe in this team this much, to make these comments in the beginning of August. And I absolutely love the belief that it spreads to this team, the message that it sends. And then so Sean was asked about it after practice today, and I found his answer fascinating as to why he believes this, because I don't think most people would point to this reason. And let's get to that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Monarch Money, where I learned, using Monarch Money, I learned where my money's going. And that is such an important thing when it comes to budgeting. You can't budget until you know where your money's going, and that's exactly what Monarch Money does. The cool thing about Monarch is they not only look at just one checking account like some other places do, they bring together your savings, your investments, your checking, your credit cards, all of them into one place for an easy view of where your money is going. That's why they are named Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. It's the finance tool that people actually love, and we know finances can make relationships fight. And Monarch Money does a good job bringing people together so you see exactly what's going on. They're the top recommended personal finance app by users and experts with over 30,000 5-star reviews. And you can get 50% off by going to monarchmoney.com. Use the code DNVR to get 50% off your first year over at Monarch Money by going to monarchmoney.com and using that code DNVR.
And shout out to Toyota. So far, good news on the car, which is good. So unfortunate in some ways that it looks like my date with my new Toyota is just a little bit further away. But someday I will have a Toyota, because even when I took my car to the shop, people were like, what kind of car is it? And I was like, it is this. And they said, yeah, figures. And he actually said at the wedding, I have his Toyota and it works great. Because that's what everybody always says.
Yep.
So someday I will have a Toyota. That day is not today, though. So many great options. The 2024 Land Cruiser, the 2024 Tacoma, 17 miles with available all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive like the Epic 4Runner. Also, more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. So you get a bunch of options to reduce your carbon footprint. Also, 16 different hybrid vehicles. So check all those out, and you can do that by visiting your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota and Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East, Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West, and Lakewood. Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL, official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
Can I ask you one really quick question? Because I missed the show where you told the stories of your misfortunes.
So it was a tough one.
The way I understand it is your car broke down like 10 miles away from...
About 10 miles,
10 miles away from where you were going. And how much time did you have?
So luckily I had like 90 minutes because I was going to finish writing my story. So there's like a library that was really close, like in Bailey, to the venue. So I was going to stop there, write for 90 minutes, and get there right before.
Okay.
So luckily I had that built in. So I got up there. So I'm going up the hill, and it's like, oh, car's not going. Something's off. Get to the top, and it's like, oh, this thing does not want to go anymore. Luckily, downhill, able to get it into a parking lot at a gas station.
Nice.
So stop there. Think like, oh, maybe I can give it a minute, and then realize something's leaking. I was like, maybe you should just leave that. Call an Uber. Uber says like, in 15 minutes it'll be here, and I was like, okay, awesome.
Declined.
And then like 30 minutes later, it was saying like, okay, they'd stopped giving me times when it'd be here, and so I was like, well, time to take matters into my own hands. Walk around the parking lot, find people who seem nice. Ask the guy like, hey, I've got a big van, looks like you're going that way. Any chance you could take me like 10 miles?
Oh yeah,
go and camp it. Let me get in that big van.
Did it say candy on the side?
I wish. And then apparently his wife was like in the bathroom or something, and he was like, well, let me ask my wife first. And I was like, super reasonable. That probably is what you should do. Wife thankfully said yes. Very nice lady from Korea, actually.
Were you in your wedding outfit?
Thank goodness I was, or nobody is picking me up.
That's
if
such
I was,
a game
I know
changer
there were
for
a
you.
lot of things where I was like, thank goodness I looked the way I looked that day. Otherwise, things might have gone differently. Get down there. Turns out there's like a longer road from the ranch to get up to where the wedding is. So I'm running up the road, get there with like 5 minutes to go, super sweaty, but I made it. And then party bus back down, get the tow truck to go pick it up. Not as many updates as I would have liked. Turns out I got to the right spot.
Incredible.
Off and running now.
I got to give you credit, because I would have just said like,
yeah,
I'll just get there when I get there. Like, if I miss the ceremony, it really doesn't matter.
I made it. It was impressive.
The fact that you like took matters into your own hands, went out of your way, did everything you could do to make it for the ceremony. You definitely got to get there at some point that night, but I wouldn't have cared about the ceremony.
And I even like, I'm getting in the car, and I had briefly told my girlfriend who was in the wedding, like, so here's what's up, just so you know.
Getting in a car.
and I look down while I'm talking to the nice people, and there's a text that says, this is a time when I need you to respond, please. And I was like, reasonable, but also I'm trying to convince them I'm not a serial killer.
Yeah. Right.
They're like, whether I get killed or not doesn't depend on whether you know where I get killed. But I can like keep you updated later on. Like they'll kill me either way. Worked out.
What was the question that she needed you to respond to?
So the text was, in a car, I'm good. And she said, with randos, question mark. And then she wanted me to share the location. Again,
So
very,
that's fair.
very reasonable.
Fair, yeah.
Yes.
But again, like, if most important, let's make sure nobody thinks anybody's getting killed. Because again, like, if they kill me, but my girlfriend knows where to find the body, I guess it's cool they know where the body is. I'm dead either way.
Wow.
All right, that's two more, but let's move on.
There we go. Yep.
We want to hear from Sean Payton. So Sean was asked today. Okay, you told Charles Robinson that you think the Broncos have a chance or can win the Super Bowl this year. Why do you believe that? And Ryan, before we play Sean's answer, have you seen what Sean said?
I sure haven't.
Then what do you think? Well, what he points to a couple of things, but he says most importantly is consistency. All right, let's see if Ryan's right.
Well, obviously, it has to start with quarterback. It has to start with defense. It has to start with offensive line. Like there's certain things that if they're not on point, it's hard to make a statement like that. But when you look at some of these critical factors, and look, I told them that, and that just means you have a chance, and then I would say most importantly, ownership, because there's 20 that each year have hope and dreams, and they're dysfunctional at the top. Thanks.
Boom, mic drop
Sean.
moment right there. That's all he wanted to say. And also, by the way, typically he's been going like 20 minutes in each press conference.
Yeah.
This was after 8 minutes. That's
Set
why
a
I think-
record with 32-11 last week.
Exactly. That's why I thought that this was very intentionally his last question. Once it was asked, he said, I'm just going to be over with this one, talking about a Super Bowl. And I disagree with Sean.
I do too.
I think that Sean is right when you take a step back and you say, what's the most important thing to win a Super Bowl ever or long term, or to have the building blocks to win a Super Bowl? He's absolutely right about ownership. We've seen that throughout the NFL, how only a couple of teams really have a chance year in and year out because of good ownership. So he's right about that in a big picture.
Yeah.
This season, there's nothing ownership can do from right now until February. It is what he talked about. I think he probably pointed to the three most important things outside of pointing the finger at himself, because I think he's a massive reason why they have a chance of winning a Super Bowl. So outside of Sean, it's Bo, it's the defense, and he's probably right. It's the offensive line. Those three things right there. And I mean, at that point, you've almost talked about the entire team, but it's those three things. Bo, very promising. Defense, elite, and maybe even more elite than we can even imagine right now. As DJ Jones said, you haven't seen nothing yet until the bullets start flying. And then with the offensive line, they have a great offensive line. They have a top 10 without question offensive line, if not top 5, and pushing for a top 3 offensive line.
Absolutely. I agree with what you're saying. I think he was just, using an opportunity to shout out his bosses. And especially after a week where they handled things the way that they did, like last week was a big Broncos ownership week, and that makes everyone in the building a lot happier and a lot safer. And as a coaching staff, you love the fact that you get to be able to turn to your players and say, hey, if you do all the right things, you show up, you don't hold out, you hold up your end of the bargain, we'll hold up our end of the bargain, and everyone will be happy. So I get where he comes from on that.
Yep.
You remember how I always say, Zach, that I learn something new about sports every year?
Yeah.
I hate the most recent one that maybe not the most recent, but one of the things that I've learned recently. You know what's the most important part of winning a Super Bowl?
Injuries.
Luck,
Health.
injuries. Yeah.
Health. I hate that I figured that out.
Yeah.
It's so unfun.
Yeah.
Because then you just have to go through every day just hoping everyone comes out healthy.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, if this team's going to win, they just have to get lucky with injuries. Now, Bo Lowry, the Broncos have done everything they can to invest in their team being the most healthy as possible. But that truly is the most. You get all those other ducks in a row. You start with the ownership. You go with the general manager. You get the head coach. You get the quarterback. You get the defense. All of that, the Broncos have done all that.
Yeah.
Now you just have to cross your fingers.
100%. And maybe he should have mentioned Bo Lowry in there, the offensive line. Bo Lowry. Oh, also Bo Nix in there as well, because you're so right. At the end of every year, you look, how healthy were the Eagles last year when they beat the Chiefs? Extremely healthy.
Yep.
How healthy were the Chiefs when they lost to the Eagles this past year? They were missing their 2 tackles, I believe. So they had to bump their all-pro guard out to tackle. I still think with their tackles, the Eagles just look so dominant. Eagles probably still win, but one team was way healthier. When the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, they're like the least injured team. So that's why the Broncos, and maybe this is part of the ownership, Sean saying like the ownership has given us the resources to go out and hire Bo Lowry and spend way more than we've been spending on this part in the past. But health is that important year in and year out to whoever wins.
I agree that I was surprised when that was what came out of his mouth. Like that wouldn't have been what I would have expected. But what if he's right? What if it actually is like the ownership is like when push comes to shove, that's what gets you over to the top, even in those situations, not just like preseason.
So from another one of those until February.
Yeah.
What do you think? What does the ownership do?
I don't know, and that's what makes me curious. Because again, like there are a lot of times where it's like I wouldn't have drafted Bo Nix. I would have taken Brock Bowers. Sean decides he does draft Bo Nix. Turns out he's right because he's a football coach who knows better than me. What if this is another one of those times, which there have been a lot of, where it's like he does know what he's talking about? What if like the leadership from the ownership, the way that they approach things, the way that like maybe he is just pandering, but living in a world where he isn't pandering, what could it be that the owners do that takes it over the top? It would have been if the press conference hadn't ended. Maybe there is a why there.
So how about this? Really quick, because Henry asked that. It could be like staying in nicer level hotels the night before an away game. What I'll tell you is the nicest hotels the Broncos stayed at last year, they lost those games.
Interesting.
Which is fascinating. I found that out today.
What if it's just the overall general feeling of stability within the organization? Like, does that matriculate itself down enough to make everyone just feel a little better on a day in, day out basis, and that can get you over the hump?
Or you see them in the locker room. You know, after wins, they're shaking hands, they're talking to people. Like, are there things they could do relationship wise to build people up, to build like the sense of community and family? Like, we're going to go do this. Because you hear about like Pat Bolin's a great leader. Like, without Pat Bolin, do they win those 2 Super Bowls? Like, people would say probably not. I wasn't around. I was hardly even alive. But I don't know. I think it's interesting to think, like, what if Sean is right and not playing politics?
This is why it's 2 different things, though, is because the Broncos probably don't win those 2 Super Bowls in 97 and 98 without Pat Bolin in charge ever. But do they win if, let's say, I don't know, Pat Bolin...
he just goes home week 1.
Yeah,
exactly.
He goes home week 1.
Goes on a hiatus.
Yeah, exactly.
6 months trip to Russia.
For 6 months where he's no longer in the building, has no communication. I think so. I think Mike Shanahan and John Elway and the team with all of that talent still go and win the Super Bowl.
I don't even think the team would know.
It
wasn't public.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, so then you think they would still win.
But like, and Pat Bolin, now I must give him credit. Like, he was in the facility every day, literally working out in the training room. But like, so they would have said like, I haven't noticed him. But I'm saying like, on a day in, day out basis, like, are the players ever thinking about ownership other than when it comes to like, am I going to get taken care of when my time comes? And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough to just say like, if I ball out, I know that these guys will take care of me, and that pushes it. But I think we're probably right in the sense that once the ball is kicked off in week 1, there's really nothing ownership can do to help the team win games.
But
you would think.
I agree with Sean in a bigger picture sense. I think we all do. Yeah. That conversation is really good, and we can talk about it more. But let's talk about what Sean had to say about Bo Nix, because this one, move over Patrick Mahomes, move over Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. That's how much confidence Sean has in Bo. This one is wild and exciting for Broncos country, and let's talk about it after I give a shout out to our friends over at True Fan Travel. We are just a couple of months away from taking over London. We're all going to be there. Benny's going to be there. We got tons of you already signed up, and we want even more Broncos fans in London with us. And you can do that by going to truefantravel.com. So the awesome thing, Broncos play the Jets in London that Sunday. We're going to get there many days before, I think on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and we're going to have events Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, plus a tailgate on Sunday, plus the Broncos game against the Jets. And True Fan Travel is saying, we're going to get you tickets to all those events, plus we're going to get your hotel figured out in London. You're going to be staying in the heart of London in a great hotel. Plus, if you want flights too, we're going to include that. So it's a one-stop shop to join us in London to watch the Broncos beat the Jets. Go to truefantravel.com to get your tickets. Really cool thing what True Fan Travel does. And we're going to have a blast. We want you to be there to have a blast with us. So check them out at truefantravel.com. Get your tickets to London.
Also, shout out to Volo. I am a huge believer in Volo and just the like social benefits it has. First of all, you're getting active. Huge. Second of all, you're meeting new people in the city, which can be really cool. Third, you get to like do fun things like go to, the DNVR bar after your league and just hang out and have some fun. And I'm the biggest believer that everyone needs wins and losses just in the win and loss column in their life. You can't go through life making ties. Just going through it. You got to know sometimes, did I win or lose?
It is important.
And Volo provides that for you. Let's say you're not a golfer or, whatever it is. You got to have wins and losses, and that's what Volo has. So you got soccer, volleyball, pickleball, kickball, basketball, cornhole, so many more. Mix up your after-work routine, play in Lodo, Rhino, Highlands, City Park, Cherry Creek, South Broadway, and more. Players can sign up as a free agent, small group, or a full team, and all ability levels and backgrounds are welcome. So use code DNVR10 for $10 off any Volo Denver League, and find out, are you a winner or a loser? You need to know.
You hear? Do you have those super chats pulled up?
Yes.
We don't need them right now, but we are going to get to the super chats from Saturday at the end of this show. If you have a super chat, drop it in now, and we will get to it before the show is over. But first, we got to get to Sean's comments to Charles Robinson of Yahoo about Bo Nix. And this, we know he loves Bo. I mean, is there another word that you could use that shows even more love? If you're just going to use one word.
Not without getting weird, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's weird about it. I think it's just
which is why we should stick with love.
Okay,
not,
perfect. He loves Bo Nix. I think he took it to another level today. And I actually need to pull the comment up because talking to Charles Robinson, he went out of his way to say how good he thinks Bo Nix is. He said, quote, he's going to be one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league in the next 2 years. Woo! He didn't leave it open-ended like, I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think he's going to be elite. He's going to be a top 10 quarterback. He said the top 4 or 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. You want to know something that's really crazy?
What?
That's the second time I've heard someone say that in the last 2 weeks that I really respect in the football world. One was off the record, one was Sean Payton on the record. And at a certain point, you just got to believe it. Now, Sean Payton is a lot more biased than the person I talk to. But both people know what they're talking about when it comes to quarterbacks. And we've talked about this. We've kind of gone through the top 4, which feel pretty solid right now. But that doesn't mean that no one can ever jump in there. And 5 is absolutely up for grabs. So what it would take for Bo Nix to get in there is basically have a season where he's in the MVP conversation.
Which is just, it's wild and it's exciting. And if that happens, then you absolutely have ownership, GM, head coach, and quarterback all synced together, which then gives you an opportunity to legitimately win the Super Bowl for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it does, which is just so exciting. And the fact that they're only one, not even piece away, one true confirmation season away from that because they have Bo Nix now. But they know that ownership's the truth. They know Sean Payton's the truth. George Payton has proven that he's the truth, the GM. And they have Bo. If he just stamps that approval, guys, 5 years ago, we had no idea who the head coach of the future was going to be. We had no idea who the quarterback was going to be. We had no idea who the GM was going to be. And we had no idea who the owner was going to be.
Yeah.
What a massive difference. And really, it's not even 5 years. It's 3 years ago that you could have said that?
Yeah.
Because at that point, George Payton, we didn't know if he was going to be the GM.
Whenever they were in the search for George Payton.
Even probably after that, because then probably when they were in the search, right when they hired ownership, is probably 2 years ago.
Bought.
3 years ago, yeah. So 3.5 years ago, we had no idea about any of those 4 core pillars. Now they have them all.
Yeah, and Jose puts in there Lamar, Josh, Mahomes, Burrow. That's the top 4. Yes, and I think you could argue the order, but I think that's pretty inarguable. So my question to you is Bo Nix can be top 4 or 5. Who's the most replaceable person in the top 4?
Well, one of them has 2 MVPs in Lamar.
Mahomes is going nowhere.
Yeah, so.
Well, what's the path for each? Mahomes, I don't even know if there is one. Like, it's just interceptions. It's all been luck, and that means that he can't keep doing these sidearm things without turning the ball over a bunch. I think that's not likely. Yeah. Josh Allen at least has a track record of that. So he could regress to the mean, throw a bunch more interceptions, have like the fumbles come back, take a bunch of sacks. Lamar.
With Josh really quick, because you brought him up. The reigning MVP as well. I agree with everything you said, but also the reigning MVP.
Yeah. So wait, then Lamar only has 1, right?
No, he has 2.
He would have
been
been
his
his
3rd.
3?
Yep.
Which is probably why he didn't get it.
Age 30.
He got Jokic'd.
But
He certainly did.
does Lamar all of a
He's 28
sudden?
years old. That's
Totally.
crazy.
Does Lamar suddenly forget how to throw the football efficiently? I think that's less likely than Josh Allen. And then Burrow's probably most likely to fall out, and it might just be because the team sucks. But I think Burrow and Allen are probably the 2.
Speaking of ownership.
Burrow just threw for 5,000 yards and 43 touchdowns.
I don't think either is likely.
People are
but
dying to throw dirt on Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Those 2, I feel like if one of them had a bad year and missed the playoffs, people would just be so ready to say that they're overrated and they were never actually that good. Lamar probably even more because he's had the struggles in the playoffs. But Josh Allen too. I mean, he can't beat Mahomes, which he hasn't been able to do in the playoffs. Now I would have a whole podcast discussion of whether that's actually his fault.
Yep.
But I think if one of those 2 had a bad season, people would be so ready to take them out of there.
Yep.
And just replace him with Bo Nix, which is crazy.
And by the way, like Burrow missed the playoffs last year. No one's changed their Joe Burrow stance at all.
No, I am higher on Joe Burrow than I was before the year.
Yeah. I am too.
Yeah.
I just love Joe. I love Joe, and I think he's really good. But as you said, even in Sean Payton's comments, you don't have to knock one of those guys out. He can be 5th. and fit into what Sean Payton said, being a top 5 quarterback. And like you said, Ryan, that is wide open. The candidates to potentially be the 5th best quarterback in the NFL right now, I'm going to leave Bo off of this for a second. You have Jaden Daniels. You have Jared Goff. You have Jalen Hurts.
Matt Stafford was a popular pick.
Then you have Stafford and Herbert. I don't want to say that. I just don't believe that. Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy is
Jordan
nowhere near
Love.
this.
Baker Mayfield, like statistically, like actually.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, CJ Stroud. I mean, it's hard for me. I think it's probably Jaden Daniels right now.
So, I mean,
Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff.
Jalen Hurts.
And Jalen Hurts. Yes. So probably Jalen Hurts 5.
Yeah, that's what I have.
ESPN just sent
what I
the
would have
survey out 2 months ago to 70 people in the NFL, from the execs and the GMs and the scouts, and we talked about it. They had the normal number 4. Number 5, they had Jaden Daniels. Bo can obviously get in front of him. Stafford next. Wouldn't be too surprised if Bo's in front of Stafford. 7 is
Bo could be in
Herbert.
front of Stafford by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Just because they're trending in different directions.
7
might
is
be ahead of
Herbert.
him by week 1. He's Stafford's out for a long time.
Yeah.
Bo could easily be in front of Herbert by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then you got Goff. And then you got Hurts. Then you got Baker. Like, it is very gettable.
Totally.
I
mean,
love
you
it.
just have to also become a really good quarterback, which you can't take for granted. The path is nice, but you still have to go be really, really good.
So speaking of Bo, since actually this show has flown by, let's dive into what happened today. So I imagine we all love Sean's confidence in Bo. And it comes at an interesting time because Friday, Bo Nix threw 2 interceptions. Saturday, Bo threw 1 interception, but also had a really, really, really good touchdown pass to Courtland Sutton, which we talked about on Saturday's extra show. Yesterday, this article drops.
Extra show on Saturday.
Yeah, extra. You're right. On Saturday. Yesterday, this article drops with his comments about Bo just being top 4 or 5 quarterback. And then today, Bo goes out and doesn't have a bad day, but ups and downs, probably more downs than ups, and also throws another interception today. So I want to start this off before we dive into what happened today. Sean was asked about, like, Bo's kind of thrown some interceptions recently. I think it's 4 in the last 3 practices, and he had 0 in the first 9 practices before Friday's practice. Sean, what do you think about Bo throwing interceptions? This is kind of how the question was thrown out here, and no surprise, he defends his guy.
Yeah, it's ongoing. I mean, he's much further along. What it allows him to do is message more to other players in the huddle. You know, you're when you first get started, you get the play and you're calling it, and when you're further along, you're able to talk maybe about a split real quick. You know, if you look at it, you got like these 12 seconds. You get the play, the cadence, the snap count, and then, you know, can you remind the back, hey, you might be the little reminders. He's he's light years further along. He's doing well. Yeah. Look, we're charting picks here like hurricanes. So he's doing fine.
Don't worry about the picks.
I just don't understand the hurricane.
Yeah,
So
we're
you-
not from the hurricane area.
That's
So
actually a
again,
good
so like
point.
you chart the hurricanes to see if it's going to come hit you.
Yeah.
Which is really important.
Yeah.
Charting interceptions in practice, not important. So you're saying you're charting picks like they're hurricanes.
Oh, like they're
Yeah,
important.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
He's saying the media is charting picks
Exactly.
like they're hurricanes.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys.
Yes.
So has
us, yeah.
has Bo's back 100%. No surprise. Just because some people already say it in the Twitter chat, I am not freaking out about Bo's picks. But also, we do this show to give you the most updated information on what happens with the Broncos. We stand out at training camp practice for 3 hours every single day, talk to players, watch what happens. If Bo throws a pick, we're going to tell you he throws a pick. Is the world falling because Bo threw a pick? No. In fact, today's pick, let's give some context and dive into what happened today. Bo had an interception. It was to...
It was
to Devin Key.
yes.
No, he had 2. He had 1 in 7-on-7s, which was to Devin Key.
Yeah.
And that one,
7-on-7,
Not
3rd
good.
and 10. It's a post to Courtland Sutton. It's cover 1 on defense, so it's man coverage from Riley. Court beats Riley deep, but Devin Key's the free safety. He gets over in time because the throw's a little bit late to pick the throw up. It's a good play by Devin Key. It also is a throw that needs to be made sooner so that the safety doesn't see what's happening and get over there.
It was an interception that
Yep.
any safety in the NFL would have made. I mean, it was not a difficult one. It was just a bad decision
Bad
by
throw,
both. Yep. And then the wondering team happened. Let me pull this up here. Okay, so right before the snap, there was some movement. Officials weren't here today like they were the past few days, so we weren't able to get clarity on if it was Zach Allen that jumped. If so, free play. But the last time we've seen defensive guys jump in this training camp, we've heard Bo scream free play, and then receivers just run down the field. He throws it deep.
He says literally verbatim free play.
That's what I heard on, yeah.
Okay.
He yells. It is
There's
weird.
like so many code words in football. that are, usually you choose one like pass ball, Oski.
Yeah.
It is
know,
weird
like-
in practice though when it's so quiet. You hear like
Yeah.
I've got him or like you've got this or whatever, and it's so direct. The offense hears it too. And even talking to former NFL players about the COVID year, so it was incredible because everybody could hear what everybody was saying, and so like
I
again
want
like
to
this
say
code
ours in when I played was fire.
Yeah.
You yelled fire.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I cannot believe there's someone in the Twitter chat saying I'm freaking out over this.
you are kind of freaking out. Yeah,
so,
calm down.
So either Zach Allen jumps or false start. There was some movement, but the play wasn't blown dead. And instead of yelling free play or just bombing it downfield, he tries to throw in the middle of the field about 10 yards, and Justin Strnad made an incredible leaping interception to pick him off. So it's hard to know if what was going through Bo's mind, but I have to imagine that he didn't think it was a free play if he's only throwing 10 yards downfield.
yeah.
Again, like
Was it a free play?
We don't know.
Don't
There
know.
weren't officials. So.
I would have guessed the offense jumped. I don't know though. And if the offense did jump, they just blow it dead anyway.
Right.
So in a game, there wouldn't have been an interception. We don't need to grade this on the like what would happen in a game curve. It's just I don't like that he's through that pass.
No need to alarm anyone.
Yeah, it sounds like the alarms are going off.
Send the
City of
sirens
Denver's
off.
burning down now because Zach freaked
Yeah,
everybody
that's
out.
That's me, guys.
Yeah.
That's my alarm
Yep.
going off.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good play. It was like I think it was like a shallow post, and it might have been like a super deep slant, but Justin Strnad dropped really deep, really fast to get underneath it. It must have been like a Tampa 2 or
Tampa 2,
something. But it was a really good play for him. Whereas the other one, it's like, maybe not so great a play from Devin Key. Credit to him for making the play, but this one to me was a little bit maybe more concerning, even if it wouldn't have actually counted.
Right. And it's just
And
so
not
hard
that
to know.
anything should be concerning. I want to take that back.
So since Zach is freaking out,
Yeah.
let me be the voice of
Yeah,
reason.
calm
I'm
Zach
about to
down,
leave
please.
13 minutes.
Somebody
before
needs
this
to calm Zach
show
down.
is over.
Yeah.
I'll go back to what I said when he threw 2 picks, whatever it was, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
And it's just that this is the time to find out what you can and can't get away with. I know no one ever likes when I talk about playing video games and how that could potentially relate to the NFL. But when you used to like run free practice in Madden, like you run plays and you make throws and you see what you can get away with. And if you throw a pick on something, then you don't throw that pass in the game. You know what I mean? Like this is where you find out where you can do things. Can you get that ball over Justin Strnad? Apparently not. So in the game, you don't try to make that throw. You look it off. You check it down. Honestly, this is me taking it up a notch. But like, I wouldn't care if Bo Nix threw 1 interception in every single practice.
The counterpoint and
Yeah.
me to back you off your spin zone, I think, is Sean was asked this similar question, I believe on Friday, of if practice now is about testing those limits or if it's about playing more so how you would in a game in terms of not taking those risks. And Sean essentially said, not word for word, but yeah, we want to practice how we play. And so it's not about testing those limits. And there are a lot of coaches, though, to your point, Ryan, that do say, no, this is August 4th. We don't care if he's throwing interceptions. Go test those limits.
So the question was, is there room for Bo Nix to explore his game in practice? He started the answer by saying, I don't know that we're ever exploring. Talks a lot. And then ended the question with, I understand your question, and yet I'm good with his current exploration. No need for more exploring. Yeah. That's a different mood than Sean today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I agree. Like, you hear about that a lot in basketball. Or just like it's basketball practice, it's whatever. Oh, point guard. Oh, see if you can like have the little turnaround jumper in practice. Like, explore your game.
Yeah.
And then like in a game, it'll be like, oh, Ben Simmons really exploring his game tonight. Shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
But I agree. I would have thought your way until Sean said that. And yeah, maybe I'm deferring to Sean too much. I defer to Sean.
Well, and this is one of the benefits, in my opinion, of not being in a quarterback competition. When you're in a quarterback competition, you can't do that. No exploration are allowed. You have to play
Stay on the ground.
Yes, you have to play the best you possibly can in every practice to try and win a job. When you're in Bo Nix's position, and some people might say this is a bad thing, not having pressure on your heels, day in, day out in practice. But when you're in Bo Nix's position, you know that you're going to be taking this first snap in week 1. Find out what you can and can't get away with. And maybe he's not trying to do that, and then that's bad. And he's just making bad decisions, throwing bad passes. But to me, this is a perfect time to explore a little bit. And maybe Sean can just say, like, stop exploring. And he can turn on and off the faucet. I don't worry about Bo Nix protecting the football. He's protected the football his whole life.
I agree.
Not at Auburn.
That's true.
He was
He's protected
very bad
his football his whole life for the last 3 years.
Yes.
So I believe in his ability to do that.
And that's why no one is freaking out.
Well, other than you,
of course, other than me.
Relax, Zach.
I was freaking out on the next team period when Bo's like, you know what? I'm just going to throw some darts. He hit Lucas Kroll, who was on Justin Sternad, for a 20-yard gain in the middle of the field. Then he hits Evan Ingram for 20 yards. So he's rocking and rolling. So Sean gets in his bag, sends Courtland Sutton on a sweep across the field. It looks like he's going to have a completion behind the line of scrimmage from Bo. Nick Bonito, this close to having another Indianapolis Colts pick 6, fumble 6
knack for this?
For a touchdown.
He does.
Yeah, I asked Sean after about it, and he's like, yeah, there is some football smarts to it, but he jumped this thing, and Courtland's way back there. So the throw is nowhere in harm's danger. And
Sure.
yeah.
We know what you meant.
nowhere in harm's
Nick
danger.
jumps, hits his hand. He's not able to haul it in, but I mean, just breaks the pass up. Would have just been another, like, are you kidding me, Nick Bonito?
Would you take the over 0.5 on Nick Bonito pick 6s this year?
I think I might have to now that I've seen
Absolutely.
it again.
So I would definitely take it on the picks. And given where
he
his
gets the
athleticism,
ball, yeah.
Because he is a great cover outside linebacker and doesn't get enough credit for that. But like great, not good, great. And when you're a 3-4 outside linebacker, half the time in that base defense you're dropping. And maybe that's a little bit less here because the Broncos send 5 so much. He is really, really good at that. He's going to get opportunities. He's going to pick stuff off.
Exactly.
Right.
And then Bo bounces back a nice short completion to Nate Atkins to round out that period. Then why I'm really not freaking out about Bo is how he ended practice. We get a team situation. It's a move the drill. Here's the situation. Minute 48 left on the clock. Second quarter. Keep that in mind. Second quarter, first half. Minute 48 left. 2 timeouts. Team is down 6. They have the ball on their own 30. So they got to go 70 yards. And here, I imagine they're just looking for a field goal. And then once you get into that field goal range, that's when Sean has told us in the past, you're just looking for a field goal. Once you get into the field goal range, if there's time left, then you look at a touchdown. So I have to imagine Sean's telling the defense, don't let him get in field goal range. And Sean's telling the offense, let's just get a field goal here to start this. First play, him and Sutton, way different pages. Sutton's running deep, Bo throws it short. It's an innocent incompletion. But you hear a defender right after when it's very obvious that the two aren't on the same page. Just say, like, you two were on this different pages on that one. You're damn right they were. Yep. Next play, he hits Sutton for 7. No huddle. Gets up to the line quickly. Dump off to J.K. Dobbins. Then they hand it off to J.K. So they get the first down. Then it's 1st and 10.
Yes.
They hand it off to J.K. Dobbins.
Yep.
I absolutely hate the play call. They're trying to draw the defense, catch him sleeping on a run.
Yep.
Zach Allen says, I don't sleep on anything.
Yes.
So tackle for a loss. It's 2nd and 13. I believe they had to blow a timeout. 2nd and 13, minute 3 left. And now you're looking at a really bad situation. Now the defense definitely has the upper hand here. And what I love, maybe the play of the day from Bo, 2nd and 13, he finds Troy Franklin in the middle of the field for a 20-yard gain, negates a bad play call, negates a bad run by the offense, gets the first down. Now the Broncos are on the defense's 44-yard line. Bo instantly just cleared a really bad situation and now got the offense in a good position.
Totally. That one again, so it wasn't just Troy beat Pat because it was probably zone coverage, and he was
I
like
think it
pushing
was.
outside. But it was Pat on the boundary with Jaquan right there, and he's pushing Pat deep, and then comes back, and Pat kind of drifts a bit. He beat Pat on Saturday on that same route with the curl. I'm excited about Troy Franklin still, of course.
This wasn't Pat.
You
though.
would be even more
On that
excited.
boundary?
He hit Troy in the middle of the field.
It was
On this
between
one.
Pat and Jaquan.
This was the middle of the field.
Oh, we saw differently.
Yeah, we did
How
see it.
middle? How
We-
middle?
Pushing
On
up
the
boundary
logo.
sits.
Yeah.
How are you saying? On the hash?
No, I'm saying he was boundary. He's pushing up. He came back in with Pat playing the boundary, Jaquan the nickel, and so he's coming between halfway sideline to hash.
Did he then run to
Wow.
the middle of the field?
There was no time to run.
Yeah, he just fell.
Okay.
Or went
Wow.
down quickly because the defense
We
was
saw
there.
it differently.
We did see that
I guess we'll
differently.
just have to see on the highlights later. Oh, wait.
Oh wait,
Yeah, we won't see it
Yeah.
on the highlights. So Henry, tell me if you saw this next play
Okay.
difference. So the Broncos have the ball on the defense's 44-yard line near field goal range. Tillman comes off the edge on the right side. DeAndre Tillman almost decapitates Bo. Bo gets the ball off. Maybe he would have got sacked. Maybe he just gets it off. 20-yard completion to Courtland Sutton on Riley Moss in the middle of the field.
I have no. Right? Oh
Well,
no,
then-
no, it
well,
was
then
no. It was
why are they running up to the line and spiking it on the
I was
next
looking
one?
at the next one. Well, you don't have to be in the middle. You just have to not be out of bounds. But no, I was looking at the next one to Court. That one was that was a dig.
Okay. Ball on the 28-yard line, 32 seconds left. So Broncos actually might be able to score. Then incomplete to Court in the end zone. Riley Moss with great coverage on him there. Just had no chance to get the touchdown. Then this next one, open your ears for this one. Jahdae Barron coming from the slot. Wouldn't have sacked Bo, but forced Bo to throw an incomplete pass. It was an intentional throwaway from Bo. It was a good decision from Bo, but maybe the highlight of Barron's camp so far by making a big time play in a big time situation with the first team defense. So it was good to see that.
Huge.
He flew off the edge too.
Really quick, circling back to something about Bo Nix not protecting the ball at Auburn. He actually did protect the ball at Auburn.
Interesting.
Most interceptions he ever threw in a season was 7.
That's
but
what someone thought.
As pointed out by someone in the comments a while ago, sorry, I don't remember who it was, he just didn't throw as many touchdowns, so the ratio didn't look good.
Yeah, and it was just so chaotic.
But career 1.3 interception percentage.
Pretty darn good. And as Sean told us last week, one of every 82 plays last year were negative plays for Bo. And that's incredible. And negative plays, a sack, a fumble, or an interception. One of 82, I'll sign up for that for any quarterback.
Amen.
So then the Broncos offense has to settle for a field goal, but it was good to see the Broncos offense move, 50 yards in a minute 48 to put themselves on the board. Now they're going into halftime with 3 points on the board against this defense. So it was good to see him finish on that note. This practice was fine. The defense still won.
It was a good one.
It was a good one, and it was. We talked about it. Saturday's practice was probably the most balanced between the offense and defense. This one probably checks in right under that because the offense did get some wins, and it was good to see while the defense just continued to be absolutely dominant. But the quarterback of the day, Sam Ehlinger, went out there, threw a 50-yard bomb touchdown. Then he followed that up with a 50-yard run for a touchdown. He would have been crushed a couple of times before that. But
As he was yelling at the receiver out there, like basically stop looking at me and go block that guy.
yeah. So
Downfield. He's like,
And then
with
after-
palms up too. Go block him.
And then after Sean gave him a lot of love, so maybe there is a spot for Sam on this team. He's going to have to go and earn that in the preseason games, but we might be seeing some fun football with the third teamers playing out there. I still think he's probably on the outside looking in. He's going to be on the practice squad is my guess, but just notable that he had a good day today. Really good day today.
Practice squad is on the inside.
No, not when it comes to 53-man cut down day.
As Sean says, it's a 69-man roster now.
It's kind of like the inside looking out.
It's kind of like the
Or,
line.
or is it the outside looking in?
See, I think it's the inside looking out because you're in the press box watching the game.
That is true.
That's good. That's a good point. Yep, very fair.
Yeah.
Other
If you're on the
notes.
team, you're on the inside looking in.
True.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
right. You're right. Other notes from today's practice,
But if
and to
you're-
hit some super chats, we're going to do that in overtime. Go to thednvr.com to finish this show in overtime. Let's go to OT.
OT.
And let's give you some other notes from today. Henry, I'm just going to run down some quick notes and you can drop other ones in as well. On the injury front, Alex Singleton did practice. Again, he's not doing team this week. I don't think he's actually going to be back for joint practice this week, and I don't think he's going to play in the game, even though Sean thinks so. Same with Greenlaw. He was out there not wearing pads today, not even practicing, but it is good to see him out there. Sean thinks he's going to be back this week. I'm not quite so sure. And then Q Robinson, same with him. He didn't practice. So everything's status quo on the injury front. Two notes that I want to hit really quickly. Pat Bryant had probably the play of the day. He caught a 70-yard touchdown pass from Jarrett Stidham, which just had, a couple of steps on the defender. I think it was DTY back there.
Yeah. Again, it was kind of messy because there was a blitz on the play about whose responsibility was what. Might have just been a miscommunication, but for some reason, Pat Bryant was deep and DTY was closest.
Yep, 70-yard touchdown. And the other
From
one...
Stiddy?
From Stiddy,
Yes.
yep. And the other one, Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Couple of drops today and recently. I think 1 in 7-on-7, 1 in team. He also did have a very good catch in team from Jarrett Stidham over the middle of the field. I'm not worried about it, but it was just like, I really love Evan Ingram. And so when a negative play popped up a couple of times today, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
You know what's weird? Rotating pass catchers.
It is.
I think it's weird. And almost every practice I've ever been to from any coach, they rotate the pass catchers. Now, what do we talk about when the quarterback is sharing reps? Like, he's got to get all those reps with those guys. So then why are we changing the guys?
Some of it is just that, and Sean's talked about, like, you send Courtland Sutton on the deep ball. Do you want to wait for him to come all the way back to then call the play and get back out there?
Yes.
Well, there you go. And then he says, like, yeah, we'll just kind of speed things up and the next group comes in.
Yeah, I'd be cool if Jarrett Stidham never threw a ball to Evan Ingram in practice.
Interesting.
And of course, we're
Jared
getting
probably would
some
disagree.
second and third team reps as well.
Yeah, and like maybe you do have like an emergency period where you're like, okay, like something happened, we got to change. The quarterback's out, whatever.
Right.
That's when I would work on that. But anyways, I just thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Everyone does it. I don't know why.
Henry, any notes from you?
Yeah, I mean, since you were freaking out about Evan Ingram's drops, I'll just I'll say there was a great play from Joaquin Davis. Again, super tall, jumped up over Riley and was able to grab one on like a fade. Pat Bryant had
one-on-ones?
Yes. Yeah, I should have said that. One-on-ones. Also, Pat Bryant one-on-ones touchdown against Surtain. We love seeing some of that. Again, because you never fear Surtain. It's only good things you get to take away, whereas everything else, it's like a win and a loss.
We've been having this conversation on the Buff Show like every day because they keep showing clips from one-on-ones, and then everyone's like, these corners are ass. And it's like, no, the corners have no chance in one-on-ones.
No, and it drives me nuts that Henry takes one-on-one notes. I appreciate it that he's tracking everything.
Yeah.
But when anyone can beat Pat Surtain, it means it is a useless drill. Like we're watching.
It's not
fun to watch.
We saw it is fun to watch. Yeah, we saw the linebackers going up against the running backs. Good luck, linebackers. You have no chance here, except for when Sam Ehlinger almost throws an interception to a linebacker somehow, some way.
So then we just won't even say that Jahdae Barron locked up Courtland Sutton and didn't let him get anything off the corner.
Those one. I would say when the defense wins, it's always notable.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you say a little bit of both. And with Pat Bryant, when the one-on-ones, I guess in the past, then we talked more about the route running in particular and the release and how he's able to set the route up, break inside, and the smarts. And that one with Pat, we did not say in particular the reason why we're excited about him winning that one-on-one or how he won it. But I do think we've seen the notes about him, like how he's using those releases. It worked against Pat too.
I just realized a new way to describe one-on-ones. Imagine being in a race against someone, but only they know where the finish line is.
That's true.
And you have no help. It's just one-on-one race, but only they know where the finish line is. And you're also slower than them.
Yeah.
You just have no chance.
I believe Court was the only one who's ever taken a one-on-one against Pat in this camp too, until today. I believe that's correct. And so for Pat to do it, again, I think they wanted to see the little test because those feet were working against the other guys. Because it's not just like some of the guys are going to say, yep, you're running, like, good job, you beat him. With Pat, it's been, look at how he's setting this up. Look at how he's getting out of it. Like, there's more there.
Can I just add something really quick before we end here? Friday night, we had the event with Benny Fowler here at the bar, and it was unbelievable. And I'm exponentially more excited for both Troy Franklin and Evan Ingram after watching that.
Totally agree.
Benny did such a great job of pulling plays from Troy Franklin last year that shows what he has to build on this year. And then just plays from Evan Ingram that were like, wow, Sean is going to be able to put him in so many situations like this. And he's just smoking fools out there. So shout out to Benny for that. And it really raised my excitement level for those two players.
Well, one of the things that is going to be key for everyone to come to the bar next time Benny has one of his is one of the plays that really stands out to me about Evan Ingram that he broke down was the touchdown that he had, and you've seen photos of it where Ingram's just making an incredible catch in triple coverage. You've seen the video as well where he makes a great adjustment on it, leaps like 3 feet in the air, catches it, brings it down for a touchdown. But that's not why he scored a touchdown. It's what happened at the beginning of the play where he absolutely shakes a defender out of their shoes and is wide open on the break. And then that's why 2 people have to come over and 3 people to try to close on him, is because he just blew the guy off the line. I had never saw that part of the play or focused on it until Benny brought it up. So it's just next level stuff from Benny. So shout out to Benny.
Real quick, since we only like when bad things happen to the offense in the one-on-ones, Justin Cernat had a great play against J.K. Dobbins. He contested throw, didn't get the PBU, but was right there and forced it to be incomplete. Also, Jaquan locked up Troy Franklin on a corner route, which again is not the kind of thing that I would have expected on that play.
Totally.
And I love Jaquan.
We got a couple of super chats to get to. First one coming in from our friend Brandon Briggs, who says, Denver Broncos for life, extremely excited about the culture and attitude of this team. Any thoughts on Moss returning to pre-injury form and Greenlaw Hufanga concern? In terms of Riley Moss, he's been exceptional this training camp. He's been really, really good. And I think he's definitely the starting outside cornerback outside of Pat Surtain. I don't think there's much to even think about with that. I think right now I said this last week, Ryan. I think you were gone. I said that we know the starters at cornerback position. It's Pat Surtain on the outside with Riley Moss on the outside and Jahdae Barron in the slot. They are going to play some dime where all 4 of those guys get on the field, including Jaquan, but I think it's as simple as we already know the starters.
Pizza bet?
Yes.
I'll say Jaquan gets a defensive snap before Jahdae.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Yep, I think that's a good one.
You guys paid off last year's pizza bets?
Nope.
I don't remember what they were.
Yep.
Well, that's... Someone write down the pizza.
Yeah,
This one,
we
though.
need to. You hear?
always
You're
say
a
that.
pizza bet writer down there.
Produce. Yeah.
You can get
Get
the
a
you can
slice
put a
of every
pig on
pizza.
it if you want. Yeah.
I've been on a pizza heater lately. Just finding some really good pizza.
I could go for pizza.
You're making me hungry right now. Okay, let's hit the super chats that we missed on Saturday because we had a big show. Nick's out for Harambe, says Henry. You're too
Right.
cute to be hitchhiking.
That's true.
Be safe, bro.
Wow.
I support this
Or
comment.
else you might see some Knicks out.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
All Madden, who says, All Madden League for Broncos fans. The Madden League has we got to make this a tiny bit bigger.
Yeah,
The Madden League has a few spots open to Madden 26. Come break RK's legacy. Crossplay league. Email if Zach can remember the email. Timmy from Sweden. Of course I remember the email. Timmy from
Yes.
Sweden because it's Timmy from Sweden
at
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
Sweden with 1 W in there, 1 E on each side of the W.
Why would there be 2 W's
Because
in Sweden?
I didn't know how to spell Sweden the last time we brought it up.
Yep.
So TIMMY from SWEDEN at gmail.com.
I just
Cannot-
have to say,
Yeah.
full endorsement of how much fun the
Oh,
Madden League
my
is.
Cannot
goodness.
endorse it more.
It is-
Sign up.
It is absolutely
It is the
amazing.
best.
They've got a couple of leagues going on
Also,
now, too.
no one can break my legacy.
Probably
Certified
true.
GOAT.
Also, did
Someone
you
prove him
see?
wrong. Go break his legacy.
Did you see the size of the super chat from Timmy?
It was 100 SEK.
Yeah. Well, any guesses on what that would be in American dollars? I'm gonna say 5
Sweden, what does it stand for?
seconds.
I'm going to say
Swedish equivalent.
Sweden economic
Say it's-
notes with the K is what I'm
with the
going
K,
with.
they would do that stuff.
I'm going to go with $7.27.
Okay.
I'm
It's,
gonna go 25.
It's a Swedish krona,
Of course.
and it's $10.34.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Timmy.
Thanks,
Thank
Timmy.
you, Timmy. Appreciate you, and we appreciate Courtland who left us with one with $5 US. That's
Ah,
$5
very easy. How much do you think
American
that is in
dollars.
Swedish? Probably about 49.
No, about 50. Yeah,
that's what I was
49.
going.
He says, is this a hot take? Broncos go 5-1 in the AFC West with the Chargers. Chargers being their only loss. Yeah, that's a hot take all the way around.
Yep.
And you know what? I love it.
Yep.
I'd sign up for that. You never want to sign up for a Chargers loss. But hey, Broncos are 0-4 against the Chargers in Sean Payton's tenure, which is kind of crazy.
We got to stop this, Sean.
Yes, we do. Henry,
Yeah.
what are the odds for this? I'll bet it. LFB.
I don't think they have odds on that,
I don't
but
think
we
you
can
get the
estimate
exact result of
division records.
division records. But you might be able to bet division record or division winner.
Yes.
You can definitely bet division winner, and if the Broncos go 5-1 in the division, and especially if their only losses to the Chargers, they're winning the division. Because that's two games on the
yeah.
Chiefs.
You split the Chargers, so could they match it?
What
and
if-
then what happens in the other games?
What if the
'Cause
Chiefs
you'd have
go,
the tiebreaker?
Would you guys sign up for the Chiefs going 15-2 right now, not knowing anything else other than their 2 losses are against the Broncos?
No.
I think this is one of the Super Bowl window years. I think to win a Super Bowl, you pretty much have to have home field advantage in the first round. And if they're 15-2, I don't think the Broncos are in front of them. So I say no.
Could be.
It's possible. I say no.
I'll say no as well.
Yeah, I think you say no to that.
Also, they're not that good.
I want home in the playoffs. True.
Yeah, I don't know. The Chiefs are so weird from last year. Like, Mahomes in a down year.
Yep.
I don't know. We got a lot to break down. One more practice in Denver this week, and that is tomorrow. We're going to be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. to break it down. Then joint practice on Thursday, preseason game on Saturday. We've got a huge week here. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 2 p.m.
We all silly like the mayor.